This is CJ with the GOAT Sports Talk, and we're going to go ahead and look at these analytics over here for Game 2. As we've seen, already that Goldenstate is up 2-0, and we're just going to kind of look at what they did right. As we know, the final score ended with 132 to 113, and it was a convincing win. Of course, it was close at certain points of the game, especially in the first half, and then pretty much, by the third quarter, things started going downhill for Cleveland. And it looks like they were really holding on for dear life anyway as they were battling. LeBron did his best to try and keep things going, but, the consistency primarily between, Steph Curry and Kevin Durant was there throughout the game. Of course, Curry had a bad first half, which we'll kind of go a little bit into that. But just checking out the box score of the winners, Golden State in Game 2. The two things that stand out, of course, is the points, like everybody likes to look at, the plus minuses. And you look at that with Klay Thompson, he was plus 24, which was the best on the team. And that goes to show because, for one, he didn't hurt the team with dumb fouls. He played clean, hard defense on Kyrie Irving and made it very tough for him to get going. And at the same time, on the other end, he put up 22 points and grabbed 7 rebounds. So an amazing game by Klay Thompson. He was really, to me, the man of the match when you're just considering the fact that Cleveland does need their dynamic duo to get it going in order to win this series. It's just plain and simple. Kevin Love is doing his thing. He's having a good series so far. And really, there really isn't much that he could do any more than what he's doing now. He's playing solid ball. He's really not hurting the team. But at the end of the day, he doesn't have the ability to create offense off the bounce, which is something that is needed in the Cleveland offense in order to open up the three-point shooting. Okay, but Klay Thompson has been stifling that. And to me, he was really the man of the match when you just factor in what he gave, defensively and offensively in this game. He hit some big shots. He basically, hit some shots that really, put Cleveland on their backs to where they really had to fight harder. And they just pretty much, ran out of gas a little bit at the end. So we'll just kind of go look up a little bit further. We got Stephen Curry. He didn't have a good first half. He had a bunch of turnovers. I want to say it was about 6 turnovers in the first half. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but he did get to the line. Okay, so that's one thing a lot of people didn't talk about, but he did get to the line. He got to the line 14 times and hit all 14 of them. That's good, So at the end of the day, his shot wasn't flowing early, but he got to the line. He was aggressive. That one call where they gave him 3 shots, I've never seen that before, and again, this is the GOAT Sports Talk. Over here, we're unbiased, okay? We don't have a homer, all right? We're not pulling for a particular team. We're going to call it like it is. We're not sitting here being bandwagon haters of one player or a team. That's not how we roll. We call it like it is. That 3 shots that he got I've never seen that before. Now, we know according to the textbook, yeah, technically they should be given those, but how many players, since they instituted that rule, that they can get 3 shots on an attempted, shot, especially like a half-court shot, the clock is running down, or the team is going to foul because they have a foul to give, or the team's going to foul because, you're going on a fast break and they want to stop your momentum. We have not seen that before, okay? Let's just keep it all the way real, especially in the middle of the game. This is not at the end of the game. This is not with the play clock running down. This is not at the end of a half or end of a quarter. He shouldn't have got those shots, man. And really, those shots, those 3 free throws, actually kind of helped sustain their run, even though he wasn't really rolling. Now, we're going to look at that box score for him, man, because Curry, I'll give his game, and, Klay Thompson, I give him a solid A, the way he played. A lot of people are not looking at what he's doing defensively, but if you're one who pays attention closely to the game, the average fan of basketball, they pay attention to points, who's scoring, who's hitting the big shot in the game. The average fan could give a damn about rebounds, okay? They could care less about, your ability to play on the ball defense. It's noticed when it's against a good player, but we'll get on that as well, because there's a lot of people saying that a certain kind of defense is being played, but It's a total team effort, and really, to be honest, Warriors have a very great team defense, and you have to give it up to them. Now with Curry, 7 for 17 from the field. He had 4 for 11 from the 3-point line. I mean, he hit some big shots in the second half when he finally got rolling. Some 3-pointers that when they were sustaining those runs, it was insane. Of course, he came out with a triple-double. So right there, man, you got to give him an A as well. He's not really guarding Kyrie Irving, so he does have a lot of energy to basically be able to take up those shots. And I really believe, we're going to get into some of the things that Cleveland can do, in another, video, or in another one where we'll talk about what Cleveland can possibly do to change some of these things. But again, amazing game. He had 8 turnovers. I'm gonna give him an A- because of the turnovers. But the rebounds was there, the assists was there. The turnovers, I don't like that, especially if you're one of those people that's pulling for Golden State. You do not want those turnovers to keep going. So I have to give him an A-. You know what I'm saying? Just off the turnovers, okay. Now Zaza Pachulia, nothing really major here. In game 1, he hit a couple of circus shots, a couple of crazy layups. He basically did a couple of cheap shots. He had something that he did in game 2 that was kind of perceived probably as dirty, but that's just how he plays. It is what it is. He's really has no impact in game 2, but really they didn't need him. We're gonna go ahead and move up to Kevin Durant, man. Kevin Durant. And by the way, Kevin Durant is almost 7 feet tall. I know they always talk about it. He's listed at 6'9". We'll get into that in another one, man. But we've not seen a guy like this. Okay, and let's talk about length. I mean, the guy is long, man. Okay, this guy's Dalzim long. All right, from Street Fighter. Okay, so this guy is able to stretch his arm around. He's able to play help defense. Let's look at the defense real quick, man. 3 steals and 5 blocks. His help defense was tremendous. The reason why he's able to do that, they have great individual defenders, great team defenders. And when you have Draymond Green on the floor, that can stick to his man, that can play great defense, and he's, a perennial defensive player of the year candidate. The guy is just amazing on defense. You got Klay Thompson, who's easily probably the best defender at the 2-guard spot. Okay. We know Kawhi Leonard is great at the 3 spot, but when it comes to 2-guard guards, Klay Thompson's amazing, 6'7", long wingspan, good feet, good anticipation, patient, doesn't jump up to take, on pump fakes, things like that. He's an amazing defender. So that allows, when you got 2 individual defenders that are able to defend man to man like that, that allows you to have another man that roams, and I think that's a very good position for Durant. Durant is very good on the ball defender, but when you talk about his length, his anticipation, his quickness, I think he's a very disruptive guy in the help defense. And this is really how Jordan played. A lot of people think that Jordan was a great on the ball defender. You got to look at the 1991 NBA Finals. Jordan cannot handle Magic Johnson on the ball. He was just roasting him. Okay, bigger than him. Stronger than him, savvy, great handle, and they had to put Pippen on him, okay, because Pippen was a slightly better, I would say, on the ball defender. Now off the ball, that's where Michael Jordan did his damage, and I think that's something that Durant needs to continue doing, because if he does this, Cleveland's gonna have a hard time getting in the flow of the offense. Now, of course, I'm gonna go ahead and grade him. 33 points, all right, 13 boards, 6 assists, only 3 turnovers. 5 blocks, 3 steals. Come on, man. 13 from 22 from the field. 4 for 8 from 3 land. A+, man. Okay? The dude is dominating. We haven't seen someone like him at this talent level. And we've seen his talent. We know he's capable of doing. But it's showing more here because, of course, he has more help. He's able to conserve his energy. There's not as much pressure on him. He can take a couple of plays off because he knows that Klay can get something going, Curry can get something going, and he can still be engaged in the offense in the next series. Now, Draymond Green. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give him a B, a B-, and let me tell you why. He kept his composure. He got into foul trouble early. but he did not get out of character. He's kept his cool. He did get upset, but that's understandable. You're in a tough game. You're getting fouls. And guess what? Those fouls were legit, man. I watched him. He was legit fouling. Some of those fouls were just boneheaded. Some of that stuff was just obvious. You're pushing people in front of the referees. I mean, you're doing different things. And, I understand he's a tough player. He tries to get under people's skin. But you don't want to do that in a time. There might be a time when that kind of fouling can happen. But hopefully he looks at the tape. Kerr gets with him. Other players get with him. Try and cut down these foul trouble, because the foul trouble he had in game 1 has continued on into game 2, and there might need him on the road eventually to make a big defensive stop, or to hit a big shot, or to get a big rebound, whatever it is, and he needs to be out there on the floor to probably stop momentum eventually. But the reason why I like his game is, one, he still gave you 6 assists. He still gave you 6 boards. He hit 3 threes, huge. Okay, those 3 threes, you need to have those type of shots in there. He, had a relatively good game, and for what he needs to do for the team, he to me he gave a B- right there. All right, so now looking over here at the bench for Golden State, you see here Ian Clark played a good game coming off the bench. When you have players that can come in off the bench and score 10 points or more, you're doing pretty well. Ian Clark, Shaun Livingston. I mean, I was a big fan of Shaun Livingston when he came out of high school, man. I thought he was going to be the next Penny Hardaway. Of course, what happened. He went to the Clippers. He, dislocated his kneecap. I mean, horrific injury. And he's still in the league balling. Plays a smart game. I mean, no turnovers, handled the ball well. I mean, it gives a lot of rest for ball handling duties. Of course, not only for if he's on the floor with Steph Curry at the same time, but also he allows them to play longer. And we'll kind of get into the length and in some of those different challenges and things like that. But he's played a good game. I mean, the bench gave the production they needed to give. They got scoring off the bench. Pretty much out of the whole bench, they really only got 2 turnovers. So I mean, that's very good when you can get all those guys playing minutes and they're not making mistakes playing. So that's pretty much it. Iguodala, he's trying to do his thing. He was plus 9, 5, and 4. It is what it is. He's not what he used to be. But there's a possibility that if there's any foul trouble with Durant or whoever, he's going to have to step up and be aggressive. But for this game, again, didn't need it. He played 28 minutes. He was there as far as just doing the defense. So, hey, at the end of the day, you really can't complain. Now, looking at the final thing, we're going to go into the team information, right? Okay, now for the team, 51.7% from the field. So basically 52% from the field, 42% from 3, 92% from the line. I mean, that looks like one of Steph Curry's seasons, okay? So, I mean, very good percentage-wise across the board. Shows that's offensive dominance right there. 53 rebounds, that's pretty good. 53 rebounds to, I believe it was 41. So 53 to 41. They dominated the boards, which they really shouldn't be doing. We're going to get on that, okay? And then 34 assists. But the turnovers, man, 20. They got to cut that down. On the road, it's a lot tougher to have those turnovers, because when those turnovers happen on the road, what happens is it ignites the crowd and it charges up the home team to get rolling, especially on a fast break. So you can't have those same type of turnovers as you would at home. Amazing that they had that many turnovers and they still ended up, still winning by 20 plus points. Amazing game. Overall, they need to keep doing what they're doing. We'll kind of get into Cleveland next. So we're going to go ahead and see what's going on in the box score.